or ZvP is in the bottom left. It's actually been kind of fun to watch him kind of not just play some more standard stuff, but these proxy hatches, gold base, and so on and so forth. It's been entertaining to see that play out. It is Reynor in the bottom left-hand side of the map, taking on the pink Protoss in the top right from Blazer. This is Krystianer. Game number 1 of another best of 3, making our way through this bracket. This is round of 16, but man, this is round of 16, and some sections of this bracket are way behind. There's still a match which only just started round of 632, which I guess not that bad. Get out Mixu though, that might actually go on a while. Does like to be very Terran heavy in the bottom half. Winner of this would play Bly in the round of 8. I don't know if we stick around for that as well necessarily. Depends what else is on offer maybe as we'll just kind of take it as it comes. We'll just see what happens after this series perhaps. Who can compete with Reynor in this bracket? Clem and Marine definitely going to be the big ones. But let's not pretend that Reynor's been invincible lately. Reynor has had his weaknesses. He has had moments of, he has had moments where he has just not looked that good. As of late. Not looked that good is kind of a strong way of phrasing it, but in comparison to what we expect of Reynor, right? You've always got to think of it as, what we expect out of Reynor. Something pretty crazy. What do we actually get out of Reynor? Well, when it's still very good, but not slightly too good enough. We still look at this as kind of a, like, oh, come on sort of thing, So yeah. Like I say, it's hard from Krystianer. Like I say, like even when he's playing well and then he doesn't play quite as well, it's like it's right to be like, oh Reynor, what the hell are you doing? That sort of thing, As the drone, a couple lings gonna come down, chasing that probe around this bottom side. A few other lings gonna come in on that and chase the probe away. Hi, I'm new here. Can I tell you what type of camera I use? I use a Sony Alpha 6400. Kind of over a year now. Or about a year, I guess. I think I ordered it. I think it was about this time last year that I probably plugged it in for the first time, actually. I remember the day when we went from low definition to high definition. It looked awesome. He goes home tomorrow. He rescheduled his flight. What a hero. I was gonna say, yeah, I was sure he wasn't meant to, still be there, but obviously just having too much fun. Probe setting up that Adept is going to move across the map, is going to come through the top side. Few lings here might want to think about jumping in on this. As the Adept pulls back towards the natural again. Hey, what's up, Idol Yomas? Thank you so much for the 2-month resub on the Prime. Welcome back. Thank you so much for resubscribing. As Reynor brings up a chunk of lings around the right side here. Running by underneath that Oracle to begin with. Well, Adepts get cleaned out, that Oracle coming through. I wouldn't play at my best with Roddy's soccer TV on the background all the time. I mean, it's Starcraft on the background of the TV now, I was just looking. So, I mean, I don't know what stream he's watching, though. Like, what stream do you guys reckon he's watching? You guys reckon he's got the Wardy stream on? Probably not. Probably got the Roddy stream on, doesn't he? Void Ray is going to chase Lings away through the bottom side of the map there, so Ling's going to get chased out. As the Rotron continues up, that'll be finishing fairly soon. And again, a good chunk of drones continuing up right now as well as the Stargate coming in, Void Ray setting up. So it comes around the right side, going to grab that Overlord right away as the couple of Queens continue to push some damage out of it. So Void Ray down, picking off his Zergling, so some more damage being done. It's going to see the additional probes continuing on in. Now we've got one probe that's going to make its way across here as well. Obviously with the double Stargate Void style, Reynor not doing anything overly aggressive just yet. We will wait to see, because this is a map where you can Queen Walk on. So if Reynor wants to cut it like 66 drones, there's kind of like a roach speed +1 Queen Walk you can go for around that time. And see what he does off the Hydra Den right away. And see how he tries to tech up in this game. Oxide has been a map where we have sometimes seen that Infestation Pit and Swarm Host style as well. So something else we've seen on this map a little bit. A lot of the time, just a little bit. Voids, a collection of them going to come around that bottom right hand side. I'm going to start to press forward. Queen nearly dropping, but not quite, just about staying in it. It's going to activate Prismatic now though, and oh my god, Spore and 2 Overlords just get blown up. How about that? Wow. It's a pretty big deal, and it's just going to see the rest of those Voids going to back it up now. Oh, well, Reynor's definitely been taking a little bit of damage here. There's the Infestation Pit coming down for us to see what the next step is going to be. See, his Queen's really going after those Void Rays. I mean, the Void Rays may be getting overly aggressive here. Maybe didn't need to stick around like this and to try and really press the issue like they are doing. Don't think that was necessary at all, in fact. As a few Queens peel off over to the side. Void's still trying to be very annoying. Like I say, it gets to a point where you've got to kind of know your limits though, right? You don't want to lose these Void Rays for nothing. He's going to try and dive a hatchery. Transfusions are available, remember. This is already costing you 1 Void Ray, probably a second, and a lot of damage on a third. So, I mean, you get the hatch, but it comes at the cost of 2 Voids. Worth it? Value? Not sure, actually. I mean, obviously, yes, great to deny the 4th base. Reynor's now not going to have the money he once wanted to have, but I'm not overly convinced on the play still. Roachling is going to back it up, the Oracle there to chase down for a moment or two. Well, the next step is coming through from both players. The Lurker Den is on the side of Reynor, obviously. I talked about some aggressive options earlier. None of those came to be. This is just going to be attacking up into Hydra Lurker. Viper as well with the Hive in play. He's still just killing Void Rays here. I'm pretty sure this is not meant to happen. But we get to that point now where these Void Rays can start to actually get some kills back in return. And extra Queens just show up, so I guess the answer to that is no, probably not. Those carriers are coming through on the Stargates. Again, those carriers up and running. A couple of Stargates coming in. Link is going to try and make their way to the upper left-hand side. Going to go through a couple of these cannons. And carriers coming up, Stargates coming up. Muscular Augments is about to finish up on the Hydra Den. Getting that completed fairly soon here. As the Lurkers, Hydras, and Zerglings all continuing to build. Viper's just trying to consume up as many of these extractors as possible, so trying to get a good amount of energy. This is where Parasitic Bombs, etc. are going to come into play as well. Lands 1 on the bottom here. Krystianer splits it out. For a moment, he goes too far forward, and that's 2 Vipers going down. He does refresh a good chunk of Parasitic Bombs, and he is going to get 2 Voids out of it, but Two Vipers going down was obviously unnecessary. I just don't think you necessarily... I just don't think you needed that chasing, right? You don't need to be that aggressive at the end of the day. Sounds a bit unfortunate. We're going to see a Disruptor shot flies. Queens, Lurkers, Hydras all kind of splitting around, splitting up a little bit. This push is going to be interesting because, well, the Disruptors can obviously do a lot to trade out, but these cannons, etc., I mean, if you can get on top of those and break them down, you can take the fourth base, but it's going to be tough to break through them. You also got the Lurkers to try and buy you time, but with the Disruptors, you can pick through the Lurkers, and you can't just leave the Lurkers on their own because of the amount of anti-air that's available. Transfusion's doing a good job of cleaning up. These Hybrids are just going to go for the top left base. Here we go now. The Interceptors start to commit through. As Disruptors trying to do whatever they can. Nice Abduct denies that Disruptor shot. One less to worry about. Dead center on the Queens. There's going to be a few transfusions that are going to need to come down instantly. Reynor looks like he wants to prioritize finishing off that top left base. He has got a good amount of money in the bank. He's waiting on Spires finishing so he can actually make what I would imagine here is going to be a chunk of Corruptors to try and fight against these carriers, which are obviously just rising up in numbers. Lurkers killing Disruptors before the shots go off is a big deal, as there's just no Interceptors left right now. Without any Interceptors left, this looks as though this should be a winnable game for Reynor. Maybe not right now, but just couldn't Interceptors kind of count down means that all of these units get away, and that was the one thing that was maybe concerning, right? If these units trying to back up got picked off by the carriers or so and chased down, that's when I'm like, oh crap, Reynor could be in trouble. But the fact he got rid of the Interceptors clears the way for him to leave easily. He maintains a lot of units while denying the fourth base. Now Krystianer will attempt a double expansion, as Reynor is obviously able to invest into Corruptors, more additional Lurkers, and really is just setting up for success as we continue on through here. Flames, Lurkers, Roaches, and Hydras, all of this setting up to this side, and looking to pick through that group of rocks. The lane's going to go in for a cancel on the upper left base. So looking to pick at that as well, looking to take that down. Here comes the kind of the carrier Void Ray force. Not a lot of Void Rays. Ooh, that Disruptor shot, mind you, hit heavy on the Lurkers. Now, there's no detection here, so these Lurkers are somehow surviving. The top left base got denied again, but the right side base for the moment is still up and running. Reynor backs it up, just goes for more Corruptors. He didn't really lose much in that fight. Lost 7 Corruptors. That is more than I thought, to be fair, but I still wouldn't say that's like super disastrous kind of levels of losses. This army around the right-hand side now. The Lurk is burrowed up for a moment. Cannon there, able to pick that Lurker off. As one Void Ray of Krystianer is trying to chase down the Hydralisks. Not quite making it happen just yet. The carrier's on the way in, the +2 weapons too. And Reynor is now maxing out on Corruptors. So with the Corruptors in maxed out status, he's also going to add on a few more Spores, but let's see if Reynor's going to be able to take some fights here. As, again, one of the big things that he did was deny the fourth base for a long time. He's obviously kept Krystianer to just then 4 bases since that as well. So it's not like Krystianer has the best of eco, and if he does start to lose units, this is an expensive army. Rebuilding those units is going to come at a huge cost, so that's not going to be easy to do. Spores being targeted, these couple of Lurkers. One of them goes down already, so Lurker falls. More Lurkers go down. Here come the Corruptors. Parasitic Bombs just to try and help out. First few carriers do start to drop. I mean, let's see. Initially, it felt like the carriers weren't doing badly, but the problem is, once those carrier numbers start to drop off, everything goes so bad for you. Reynor even has just the Spores so far forward here, and this is just a complete air army wipe. You don't recover from air army wipes like that, Krystianer. You need support for these freaking carriers, man. And at this stage of the game, that means you need Storm. Like, nothing else really cuts it. You need Storm, otherwise these Corruptors, there's nothing... Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As we dive on into the bottom left-hand side of the map, let's start this one off with the pink Protoss player, Krystianer. What's up, right? Up 1-0 is Reynor. Played that one out well. Definitely seemed to know what he wanted to get up to. Handled it brilliantly, to be honest. As we expect from Reynor, of course. As this game, he will open pretty early pool. So, with the second game on the horizon, we've got these Lings coming out, and Reynor looking to put some pressure on early. As he will send that drone off to the side. Krystianer never came up into the maze and never saw the speed of this pool. He's going to back up now as the drone is able to go back, actually take the proper natural expansion. And these Lings don't actually have to delay at all in coming across the map, which is a pretty good win. Not having to worry about that at all. As our Lings is going to continue their way across down the bottom left-hand side. So away they go. This probe going to be in... I'd say maybe that probe gets in trouble in a moment or so, but no, not the case. A few Lings are just going to latch themselves onto the cyber core to start off with here. So cyber core being exposed like this is not great. Obviously, a lot of Lings can get a surround on it, and you kind of need to protect that. You kind of need the cyber core. Else, believe it or not, you're not going to make much progress with Warp Gate if you don't have a cyber core up and running. Put that in. Lings trying to get a wrap around. Those Zealots have taken a lot of damage. I mean, the kiting is decent. Ooh, Reynor is going to lose quite a few of the Lings there. Doesn't get either of the Zealots in the end. Never got the surround. Good control out of Krystianer. And now we're going to take these Lings up into the main base where the Adept will get another shot or two off on them. Nothing too major, but... oof. He is going to end up back down the low ground. He's going to try for the cyber core again. Now, cyber core is still low, but there's no follow-up from Reynor that should realistically get the kill, so... What is nice about these Lings, so there's two ways of looking at this. It's nice that the Lings are over here. Because... by the Lings being over here, they were able to keep these units back at home. But now you've lost all those Lings. Now you're going to have to make sure you make new Lings when these units do have to go across the map. So, I mean, these units get across the map later, but then you have to build new units no matter what as Reynor. Don't think it was good for Reynor in general when he actually lost those few Lings initially, to be honest. Definitely did not seem great for him. That guy, Devs is going to try and shade on in. They're not going to commit to that. As the Lings were up in the main base, Queens are going to do a good job to pick off the first of these Zealots. Second Zealot will not go down just yet. Took a moment longer. It's actually going to start walking back. And drones had to pull away from the Adepts as Lings will go back in chasing down the Adepts here. So these Lings with the Crucible are going to get a full surround. Obviously, he backs up against the minerals, minimizes surface area at least for the Adepts, but not enough to stop the Lings getting the kill. So it's a cleanup from Reynor in the end. As Krystianer tried to do anything and everything there to get just a little bit of damage done. In the end, maybe committed in just a little bit too far. Maybe just a little bit. Quadra is going to try and pick away at this Overlord, so Overlord is about to drop off. Overlord goes down. Oracle to follow up here in a second Stargate once again. So Krystianer seems pretty set in his ways about how he wants to play out this series, so not much to be said about that. Nexus just settles down. Just going to be seeing these Void Ray moving forward. A couple of Lings being picked away at. Queen's on the way up. Cryptium is coming through. Hatchery on the way through as well. Lovelord's on the way up as well. And that Roach Roaring dropping down into the back of the Natural. Getting that up and ready to roll in a few moments. Voids making their way around the top. Just going to see those drones locking onto the couple of minerals. And we have Queens just able to jump onto an Oracle. Again, 2 more Void Rays going to be finishing up shortly. So 9 Roaches are going to start. So 9 Roaches in production already from Reynor. When he knows that this is kind of Stargate focused too. And that would suggest we're probably going to start making a walk across the map here fairly shortly. How many Queens has he got? 5? He ain't making more Queens though, so... doesn't seem super like Queen Walk focused. Maybe he just doesn't quite know exactly what the follow-up is here yet. I mean, he's gonna Queen Walk. I just thought the 5 Queens were not really gonna cut it, but yeah, I mean, a couple more on the way now. I guess let's see as we make our way across the map. We get ready to see what can be done. Those probes is going to mine away in that 3rd base. Void's going to finally leave the main up the left-hand side, but little does he know that those Voids are going to have to do a quick turnaround because there is 0 preparation at home to defend this, so he's going to need those Voids on top of Roach Ravager instantly. As Reynor, good start here, but here come the Void Rays. First of Valves will have to try and buy him a little bit of time to back away from this. The Oracle's even going to show up. The Queens are just nowhere near just yet. And Reynor, with all of these Void Rays now arriving, kind of feels unprepared for this, right? I mean, the couple of Queens are going to transfuse, but like I say, the Queen count here was just never looking to be good enough against the double Stargate Void production. I think Roach Ravager is going to try and break into the main base in the Natural to try and get more damage done. Just going to let the Lings stream through there. And so far, not a probe has fallen as Krystianer looks as though he's probably got a defense coming through here very soon. I mean, Reynor just has... he's finally starting to get some pros. These Voids are sat AFK. They need to get moving. Get on top of some of these units, clean this up, stop taking damage. As Krystianer still maintaining the supply lead, but he is letting these Lings get a lot done. The Roaches and Ravagers too. This is now 20 workers killed out of... I feel like 10 was acceptable. I feel like 20 is a lot more than what really should have gone down here. Of course, he's pumping probes throughout this. And the big thing is now these Voids go across the map. The potential to counterattack from them is obviously pretty sizable. So straight across the map they go. See, these couple of Queens going to get in trouble right away. So, you know, these two rally through as well. Even more of the anti-air of Reynor going down. It looks as though we're going to have Krystianer taking a map here. I mean, unless Reynor's really able to just hold him off and get into a much longer game. Because to win this right now as Reynor, you need either some massive mistakes, or you need a really long game to force a lot of smaller mistakes out of your opponent. You can see the Void Rays are hunting. They are hunting for a position they can deal some damage in. First of Battle gonna land, but the Voids are just able to slip away already, so they're able to dodge away from that. Festovi goes down. Spore Crawler will die. This Void's going to stay active on top of these Queens, and a lot of these Queens continue to drop. Cross of Bile is going to clip the edge of one of those Void Rays. This one just about escapes out of there. The rest of these Voids taking a lot of damage. These Queens taking a lot of damage from the Voids, which are going to go onto a Spore Crawler now. Anti-air was, like I said, looked as though it was going to be the problem. Move back around the left. These Voids are going to reactivate and try and go onto the Hatchery. Hatchery is melting out of Prismatic Alignment. Suddenly you've got no 3rd base. I mean, this time, obviously we talked about the Voids killing a base in the last game, but this time there wasn't a Queen count here to really punish that or to take down enough voids to make it be like, oh, well, is this okay? Is that all right? Can you get away with this, etc.? No, this time he absolutely got away with this. Counterattack from Reynor is not very sizable. Looks like we just had a recall home of the Void Rays. So they're going to be able to come through and play cleanup on this Roach Ravager force. And that should just be kind of it for game number 2. Looks like we really are going to get game 3 with this. Roach Ravager gets denied. I mean, Reynor's got a lot of money in the bank with, what, an infestation pit and a hive. And once more, the Void's just going to go across the map once again. So happy we have this mass Void meta. You know, I don't disagree per se, but I feel like it's better than a lot of metas we've been stuck in the past, to be honest. Like, there have been some really horrendous metas we've been stuck in. And I feel like the Void Ray meta is at least... There's a few different ways to play around it, and it's not like you're seeing Void Rays only every game. Like, some players play like this, sure. But, some players... There's always someone who only ever does this, right? And doesn't do anything else. So... yeah. And I don't know. I feel like you can look at a game like this and be like, God, Void Rays are stupid. But you can also look at this and say, Reynor did an attack not expecting there to be that many Void Rays, and he just walked headfirst into, his own death. And that commitment really just killed this game for him, and hence this game has not been all that exciting. Because he kind of just died early on. Hatchery at the front goes down as well. GG called from Reynor. Krystianer is going to take game number 2. And we are tied up 1-1. Alright, it's a 1-1. Let's get this underway. I kind of forgot that last game started off with the 12 pool as well, right? But I really do think the 12 pool wasn't as great as it should have been, because at the end of the day, he lost all of the Zerglings, and if you lose all of the Lings, usually you get more out of it than, oh, I kept the Zealots and the Adepts at home. And he actually dealt with the follow-up Zealot Adept pretty well, but it was still the investment into Lings that was painful. So something else to think about, and then obviously the push itself didn't really go well, and at that point I don't think it's worth discussing anything else in that last game, because at that point everything was kind of just written in stone. At the top left we have got the pink Protoss player. This is Krystianer. Taking on, in the bottom right, the blue Zerg player. It is, of course, Reynor. So yeah, I definitely think the the discussion in the chat is basically like, what does the 12 pool do? I don't disagree. The 12 pool is obviously meant to be a pretty safe macro opening, which it is. But this was just, like I said, this wasn't your ordinary 12 pool. Like, because you lose all of those workers, which you don't usually have happen. Like I say, if you don't, you lose all those Lings, and you're usually meant to keep some of the Lings alive. And I think that is a thing is worth keeping in mind. It makes a difference. We just have the probe at the front is having a decent time, coming around, being a little bit annoying, blocking that drone in a little bit, stopping it from getting its hatchery up. Haha. Bullied you. Feels bad, man, really, doesn't it? What will that drone ever do to you, Mr. Probe? Why isn't he allowed to be a hatchery? All he ever wanted to be when he grew up was a hatchery. And you're the one to stop him. Disgusting. That probe's in my bad books, guys. I'm no longer its friend. I wasn't really its friend in the first place, but just to make sure right now, I am 100% not its friend. Krystianer's the new Hyperion? I don't think so. Krystianer's really good. Krystianer's underrated. He needs to put in a few more tournament results for sure, but this kid is really freaking good. He had a peak of like 6.7k on the ladder, right? So it's worth keeping in mind. It was a peak, but a peak is still getting there. That's Voidray of Krystianer coming around that right side here. Looks off the first Overlord. It is going to be a Twilight Robo follow-up, so it's going to be seeing something a bit different this time around. Obviously, this is initially going to point towards the Adept play. So let's see if that's what we end up with here. Is Voidray just going to back it up a little bit, taking a little bit of damage there. Six gateways, so it's not going to be that Resonating Glaive Adept play. It's going to be something a little bit different. It's going to be a massive charge lots as Krystianer's looking to get a little cheesy to try and run this one out. Probe in position, pretending it wants to take a third base. Maybe he'll even drop it down. He will. We'll see if he keeps that as a backup, or if he genuinely does just cancel it once the Lings have seen it. Right now, the Voidray, he's really selling this on the whole idea of, you don't get to see what's going on, right? You don't know what's happening in my main base. Reynor is on the way to Roachron. So Roachron is coming up to help against it. So will the Roaches be in time? Will there be enough of them? Pretty good questions. I go a few Lings, gonna go pushing up towards the natural expansion. Prism, few Zealots on the right hand side here. Just a few Lings making their way across. Charge is about to finish up on the Twilight Council. Comes all the rest of these Zealots now. A couple of Roaches in production, but Reynor had just started up another round of drones. The fact he's on 55 workers is pretty horrendous for him. That is a clutch Evo chamber. Last second Evo is going to get in for the block. This one doesn't go down, so now the Zealots are going to be through here. And they are going to get on top of your Queens. The Queen's going to pull into the mineral lines. You got Spines on the way up. Reynor has defenses coming. They're just not here yet. Can Krystianer get enough done? 6 drones already down. Reynor's army supply struggling a lot. Some of his Roaches from the third base getting caught by a few of these Zealots. And there's just Zealots everywhere. The first Spine is down. The second Spine is in trouble. I think Reynor is just in trouble, guys. I think we're going to have a bit of an upset here if this can't change around the next few moments. The Zealot count, Roach count is getting there, but 29 drones have gone down. And this attack is going very, very well. As Krystianer is going to pick off this Spine at the front. I mean, coming out of this, is there a recovery mode from Reynor? Like, if he survives, can he do something from here? Because obviously Krystianer is low tech, so there is that to keep in mind. Man, these Zealots are just not going to stop coming. I just don't know if Reynor has the economy to deal with that. Avoider is going to kill on the third base as well, by the way, and Adept is going to go pick those drones off, so that's an issue. Roaches have backed away into the main, so Krystianer's just going to say, well, what if I focus down on the natural on that third base? I mean, a few extra drones going down, some more economy falling. Reynor's going to bring his Roaches back in, but it has to mean that they're back in a more open space, right? With that charge, getting the Zealots on top, I mean, another Prism going to warp in once again. And this is Krystianer going to take down Reynor, guys. It was a good build choice. It was a good build choice for game number 3, and it definitely had Reynor completely shocked. He was not expecting this in the slightest. He sold it really, really well with the unit positioning across the map, third base. He absolutely sold Reynor on the idea of this double Stargate Voidray. And Reynor did not play as he needed to against it. Guys, if you were hoping for Reynor Clan finals, that ain't happening. Nuh-uh, not this week. Reynor down.